We are the jockeys, jockeys are we. We live underground in a fiberglass tree.
Patreon and the YouTube Super Chat made their voices heard. Special thanks to contributors Lovable Tester, Dancing Wolf, Grant Sicard, Kylie Elizabeth, Evolved This YouTube, Ahmed Harrington, Florian Bibel, Zeno Salvador, Twilight Duck, and Emerald Wolf. After tallying the votes, this week we're opening up the barrels for the monkey-like, maniacally laughing at his own joke, humping addicted Cake Slayer's favorite infected himself. This week we're doing Special Infected Profile, the Jockey. Standing the shortest among the ranks of the Special Infected, prominently because of his hunchbacked monkey-like stature, the Jockey seems to suffer from many different ailments and symptoms worsened by the green flu epidemic. Looking on the surface and on the vocal cues of the Jockey, we can assume two different possibilities on its medical afflictions. Its spine curved to the point where it doesn't really seem to have a neck on the Jockey, but rather a hunchback deformity on the specimen to the point where he may begin yelling "Sanctuary" As briefly explained in my What Exactly is the Infection in Left 4 Dead video, the Jockey prior to the infection may have been confined to a wheelchair due to paralysis. As I described with the smoker, the green flu would enhance regenerative abilities in the infected to where the paralysis would be cured, but at the cost of the host's stature. The spine curving similar to an advanced form of scoliosis, causing the Jockey to hunch over to such an extreme degree. The vocal cues and eyes of the Jockey would also hint at the host suffering from dementia. Dementia basically causing a person to go insane, laughing maniacally, and not grasping the severity of a given situation. This would explain how the Jockey is constantly laughing either when it's running around normally, spotting a survivor, or riding a victim to their death. The Jockey's eyes are also the most widened and insane looking of the Special Infected, and infected overall. While many infected have a deadened gaze or widened out pupils, the Jockey's pupils are detailed and look as if he hadn't slept since Left 4 Dead 2 came out in 2009. These symptoms may also be an irreversible effect of severe brain damage. Those at Valve even stated in their developer commentary that the Jockey does suffer from mania, which is the root cause of his laughter. Looking at the Jockey even closer, we can see that these signs of dementia or insanity are strengthened by how twitchy the Jockey is consistently, whether you're looking through first or third person perspective. The Jockey will constantly be darting its head all around while his head will shake sporadically. While in first person, he will be positioned like a praying mantis and his right hand will shake frantically while the left hand will twitch every few seconds, which may indicate that the Jockey is right-handed or possibly even right-brained. Right-brained individuals are said to be more creative, outward-thinking, and visualizing a less critical thought process, which may also contribute to his maniacal state. Yes, I'm saying creatives tend to be more insane, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Or maybe I'm just talking out of my ass. His fingers and toes have also lengthened due to the infection and are stained blood red. Whether it's from his or a victim's blood is unknown. The Jockey's lips and skin around its mouth have rotted or been torn off, revealing its purty smile, making a zombie dentist's life much easier. He may also have chewed off his lips, as many people develop nervous habits like chewing their lips and biting their nails as either a sign of OCD or as a coping mechanism. The skeletal form of the Jockey's dental work resembling baboon lips slightly. These deformities bear resemblance to that of a common baboon, which may have been a goal of the creators. The Jockey seems to have made most of his muscle enhancements similar to the hunters, both having their leg and lower body muscles developed enough to jump great heights, but the Jockey getting the short end of the stick on how far he can go. While the hunter has to crouch to prep his lower half to spring up to 3-story heights, the Jockey is free to jump 15 to 20 feet high at any given time.
Jump around, jump up and get down.
The Jockey uses his enhanced form of leaping to execute his main form of attack, therein which earned him his unique nickname based on a professional horse rider and tender called Jockeys. Since Jockeys ride the survivor, this is what their name stems from. Jockeys in real life tend to be rather small, so as to be a lighter load for the horses.
I just love riding, love going fast.
When leaping onto a survivor, he will wrap his legs around their shoulders, rest his torso against the back of their head, and begin to claw at their heads with his elongated and jagged fingers. The combination of having an insane, hunchbacked, rotting, laughing individual on their head clawing their face up causes the survivors to drop everything they're doing to get the jockey off their head. It's important to note the jockey doesn't necessarily have to jump onto a survivor's head, they just need to land on their head from a slightly higher position and they will latch on. This will occur even if the jockey didn't mean to drop on top of them or not. The jockey uses his panic to steer the snatched survivor in any direction it wants, but not with 100% control. Unlike being smoked or charged in a given situation where the survivor is completely helpless, the survivor has the ability to somewhat resist the direction in which the jockey is trying to take them. If you're the jockey, try and be unpredictable in the direction you're taking a survivor so they have less chance of resisting your influence. Now, if you are the survivor in this situation, go in the very opposite direction you feel the jockey is taking you. You will take 4 damage per second, but at least you will slow down how far the jockey can separate you from your group or lead you into hazards like spit, fire, or a ledge, which leads me to the next portion of the video, tips and tricks for playing as and against the jockey in-game. The jockey is probably the best infected at getting a survivor away from the group, mainly because of the control over where they can take the survivor. Be careful though, one melee and you will be knocked off the survivor and you will be at the mercy of a barrage of melee, weapons, and bullets since you have about a second of stumbling to deal with after being smacked. The jockey in versus will do 4 points per regular scratch and 4 points every second he is latched on to an enemy, and then 4 damage each preceding second. The jockey, like all other pitting infected, will not let go of their obtained survivor until they are either meleeed off, killed, or in the jockey's case, down the survivor. The jockey is the only special infected that lets a survivor go once they are knocked down to their incapacitated state. If a jockey is on a survivor for more than a second and legitimately knocks them down himself, he will hop off and have to wait a full 30 seconds before using this ability again, the same amount of time it takes to recharge the boomer's vomit attack. This timer can be shortened down to about 7 seconds in a number of ways. If you hop on a survivor with 4 or less health, they will go down immediately and your ability will recharge just as fast. You can gain this instant recharge if you also pull a survivor off an edge to where you yourself don't die right afterwards, like the sugar mills in Hard Rain. You can use that opportunity to cause constant panic on the enemy team by constantly coming back and knocking more people off the edge. You can also have your friendly charger, smoker, or hunter take over the kill so that you don't face a 30-second recharge time, because if someone steals your kill, you will be able to get your ability back and get it back in the fight almost instantly with that 7-second recharge versus 30 seconds. If you do find yourself in an elongated recharge time, don't whimper away like a little bitch and simply wait for your ability. The jockey, like all others, can still use his secondary attack and scratch survivors. Since he is optimal at downing people, if someone comes to pick up their teammate, go and scratch the down survivor to reset the revive timer. Not only will it buy your team more time for an attack or respawn time, but it will also annoy the hell out of all the other survivors involved. I stress this in each special infected profile with pinning infected, but wait for an opportunity when either the team is distracted by a blinding boom, a charger disorienting the group's setup, or just attack a survivor who has strayed from the flock. Just be careful when jockeying near a group of close survivors. If you latch onto someone who has an ally nearby, they will stumble and they will know that somebody around them has been attacked. Now, contrary to popular belief, if you lean in the same direction as the jockey, you will not in fact cause the jockey to move faster. And on another side note, when survivors lose some of their speed when they hit 40 health, they will retain the speed while they're being jockey ridden, if not below 40 health. When combating the jockey, you will find that finding the window of opportunity to fend him off while jumping can be frustrating and almost seem game-breaking. Bot jockeys can awkwardly jump backwards and latch on almost instantaneously. Keep this in mind when facing a hop drunk jockey. Say that 3 times fast. Don't try and melee it while it's in the air. On the contrary, keep running backwards while it's trying to adhere to your face. While it's back on the ground, move forward and bash it to stun it. Once he is stunned, he will be at your mercy. Unlike other special infected, the jockey does not have a sound cue for when it specifically spots a survivor, since it is consistently laughing and jittering, so just be aware of where he is at all times as he laughs and gives away his position. This is extremely important to note when you are actually playing as the jockey, because he will laugh the loudest when he first spawns in the game.
This is going to hell real fast.
That's all I have when speaking scientifically, competitively, and whatnot on the Jockey, but let's come up short on some trivia with our humpiest little friend. Pro tip, crouch and look straight up to ascend to the next evolution and form of the Jockey, the Crab Jockey. A crab jockey, a crab jockey. You put your nuts in my face, you're a real disgrace, and you know you will always be a crab jockey. The Jockey has a very enraging glitch that can easily kill it at any given time. While the Jockey is airborne, if a special infected scratches it, a survivor bashes it, or even if the Jockey is boomerbiled and hit by a common, basically if it's hit by anything while jumping, the Jockey will instantly die no matter what health it is at. The strange bug was added in a patch and was never phased out with the core gameplay of Left 4 Dead 2, causing for some funny and some raging moments. Oh! What the fuck? Nana, look at this! Look at my screen! What the fuck is up with this junk? What the fuck? Dude! I don't know! The only way I can Rick and Morty explain this is that the Jockey's spine becoming mostly vulnerable and easily destructible mid-jump, and when struck, causes it to snap and disable the Jockey. An early version of the Jockey's attack had the survivor stay in the first-person perspective with the Jockey's hands obscuring the screen. The Jockey was supposed to be the first special infected with the ability to dismount his targets after mounting or ensnaring them at his own will. However, this trait never appeared in the final version of the game. Oddly enough, when you look at a Jockey from a different person's perspective, he looks as if he is very close to the ground and his head is almost touching it. However, if you're in the Jockey's perspective, he looks as though he's a much taller and standing upright individual like many other infected. Now, of course, I had to bring this up. Everyone in the real world will make jokes about how the Jockey is humping survivors, and even survivors like Ellis will refer to him as Humper. Coach will assume Ellis jumped on top of him because of the wild, childish-like method of attack. Well, until the Jockey's jagged claws cloud his eyes. That about jumps this infected profile to its conclusion. Did I skip out any details? Did your favorite special infected not get covered this week? Let me know in the comments. You can vote for the next special infected profile by donating to my Patreon or donating in my super chat during my YouTube live streams of Left 4 Dead 2 on Friday nights. Not only will you get to vote, but you will get WoW Commander status in my Discord server. For those that keep asking, I do these profiles every Friday and I don't have any delays planned in the near future. So expect more alongside my coaching, moments, and other series. And if you see a game that isn't Left 4 Dead, please give it a watch. I pour a lot of time into the videos as well, and I would much appreciate it. And I also want to say, I don't think me versus Peak Temper is ever going to happen. He hasn't posted in a while, so I don't know if he gave up on YouTube or not, but you never know what may happen. That's how life can be. If you like this video, this series, or this channel, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that bell by the sub button. And until next time, I'm Zack from Wow Such Gaming. Stay wow! Oh, and the Jockey has monkey abilities. That's how he survives long falls. Screw you, cake.